All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We're good to go over there? Okay. Start with a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Chandler, can we do the roll call, please?
Ms. Batisky? Mrs. Blomgren? Here. Mrs. Chaikin? Here. Mr. Cormack?
Here.
Mr. Kaufman?
Here.
Mr. Merkel-Gump?
Here.
Mrs. Rash?
Here.
Mrs. Sharino?
Here.
And Mr. Wurs?
Here. Ms. Batisky is dialing in. She's on the road, so we're trying to get her connected. We'll keep going. We're changing things up a little tonight just so we can get through with the kids and give out the different pictures, and then we'll move to public comment. So that was a slight change. Oh.
Sir, we can't hear you.
Can you now? Is that better? Okay, thanks. All right, well, we'll start tonight with the President's report. Over the past few months, we've been reviewing many administrative regulations and policies. For those who are not familiar with these, the policies are those that are approved by the board, and the administrative regulations are the superintendent's communication to the staff and to the public on how we implement those policies throughout the school. These administrative regulations are also reviewed by the board. You will see more policy changes over the next few months. In the meantime, we have asked the administration to review all administrative regulations to review their legality and continuity throughout the school. We want to ensure that all students are treated equally. We are working with the administration to resolve these outstanding issues. We believe the administration should be writing all the policies and the administrative regulations under our guidance. This is the best way to get buy-in from our staff and community. Two issues we are focusing on right now are our library and counseling. We are waiting on a response to resolve outstanding issues with the library books. There has been a lot of confusion about this, and it isn't about what is and what isn't in the library. I trust our administration will correct any past errors and return the control of the library books to where it rightfully belongs. Remember, if there's a concern about a resource, we have a policy in place to be reviewed to make sure it is age appropriate. We are also reviewing our administrative regulations with regard to counseling. We're in the process of reviewing a revised version of the counseling guidelines provided by the administration and expect to release something in the near future. We will ensure that we are following all current state statutes and regulations. Mr. Johnson is to be commended for quickly getting to work on the best practices guidelines for the school. Our budget discussions are continuing. This year we are facing a significant cost increase because of the two new contracts signed last year. These contracts were critical to our ability to attract and retain talented people at Penn Ridge. In addition, the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, also known as ESSERS, will expire this year, causing a funding gap. Last year we received over $2 million in ESSER funds. Thankfully, we have an excellent leadership in our finance department. I would like to thank Mr. Daubert and his team for always being prepared, creative, and working so hard to keep our budget balanced. As board president, I believe we have a fiduciary responsibility to maintain high-level programming to ensure Penn Ridge remains an excellent school. I realize we've had a 7-year stretch of not raising taxes, which is unheard of in the state. We all realize, however, that there will come a time when we do need to break that streak. As for tonight's agenda, I will be asking for one change. In the interest of transparency, I will ask to table the motion on the Steele's consultant contract on tonight's finance agenda. We will review it during the next curriculum meeting. I want to clarify that the board was not involved in the selection of this consultant. It was a last-minute request for the staff, because the new Steele standards are being implemented next school year and timing was critical. I would also like to talk about some of the visits we had with our schools. I recently was at Deibler Elementary where they had the IU Mobile Fab Lab. If you're not familiar with that, It's a van that brings all sorts of high-tech equipment to the schools, to the elementary schools, so that our students can interact with it about a week at a time. So it included 3D printers, CNC routers, vinyl cutters, and a variety of robotic equipment. I was there for a little while and got to see the different classes interact with it, and it's amazing and fascinating what our kids can learn at such a young age. We have these type of equipment in the middle schools, but this is a great exposure for them. So I just wanted to mention that the IU was responsible for this, and if you don't know much about the IU, they play an important role in all Bucks County school districts. They provide services to the community, and they're an excellent partner to work with. If you like, you can find a lot more information on what they do on bucksiu.org. I also had the opportunity to attend the Penridge Art Show this weekend. I was truly amazed at the creative and talented artwork that I saw. The show was extremely well attended, and all the displays were professionally done. I'd like to thank Sarah Moose and all those who assisted. We appreciate the extra hours and hard work to show the importance of art in our curriculum. Thank you for your continued support of Penridge. I am confident we have an excellent school district, and the improvements we are implementing will make us one of the best in the area. As always, we welcome your feedback. We will respond to your emails as soon as possible. Feel free to always reach out with questions or concerns. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Angelo for his report, and I think we'll get to you guys soon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wers. Can everyone hear me, especially in the back? Good. I see a couple thumbs. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to provide the monthly superintendent's report. I just wanted to let everyone know that we have an upcoming solar eclipse on April 8th, and I will push out communication about next steps. I received a few email inquiries about what are we doing, are we dismissing early? The answer is we are not going to have an early dismissal that day, but should parents want to pick up their child early, that's not a problem. We'll certainly facilitate that. But more particulars are forthcoming. I'd like to take a moment to celebrate the remarkable achievements of our students this evening and teams across the Penridge School District. Tonight we spotlight the dedication, perseverance, and outstanding accomplishments. First and foremost, though, as we get ready to embark, and we actually have embarked upon our spring athletics season, there's 4 individuals I'd like to call forward, and hopefully you'll see their image on the screen behind me. They're Penridge grounds crew. If each of you gentlemen could come forward for our public recognition. They are Lauren Strasser, Chris Orlando, Brian Worthington, and Shane Fazy. So we have 2 of the 4 this evening. So as a longtime Bedminster resident, and I wasn't employed by the Penridge School District, I was always highly impressed with our grounds. And these 4 gentlemen, although you only see 2 before you, there's the unsung heroes behind the scenes, and they bring a level of pride to our facilities. They are very nice to be around. When I was touring the various buildings throughout our district, they welcomed me into their shop with open arms, and they were steadfastly conducting maintenance, and are just really, really a pleasure to be around. But what's most important is the pride that they have in their work, and that exuded when I met them for the first time. So I don't know if they've ever been publicly acknowledged in a school board meeting, but when you drive around all of our campuses and you see the level of work and the pride that they exude, and I think they're a great example. So I just wanted to publicly recognize the 2 of you, and please tell your colleagues we sent our best. So if you could just join me in a round of applause. Thank you very much. Next, I'm thrilled to announce the exceptional performance of our students at the Upper Bucks County Technical School, who've excelled in the Skills USA competition. So it is with great pride that I announce the winners of the Skills USA competition. Skills USA is a statewide competition. So if you think of athletics, think of like a state tournament sanctioned by the PIAA. Skills USA is the organization or the umbrella organization that facilitates these competitions. So students, when you hear your name, if you could please come forward. And these students were also honored at the recent tech school meeting. So taking first place, and again, students, if you're here tonight, please come forward when you hear your name. Austin Rice and Katie Ballman, first place for Automotive Manufacturing Technology. Aurora Capusta, excuse me if I mispronounce your name, first place for Cosmetology. Ireland Grishevsky, first place for Crime Scene Investigation. So to be efficient, how about we hold our applause until the end and we'll rock and roll. So here we go. Garrett Sprague, first place Diesel Equipment Technology. Natalie Yondura, first place for Employment Application. Abigail Homolka, first place Promotion Bulletin Boards. Aaron Ladd, first place for Related Technical Math. Brian Toma, first place Automotive Refinishing Technology. Paul Wyman and his team for the first place Welding Fabrication. Megan Yarmosh, second place CNC Programmer. Quinton Mollug, second place Health Knowledge Bowl. Brittany Bradley, second place Health Knowledge Bowl. Doug Yondora, second place HVAC and Refrigeration. Josh Overholt, Joe Geib, and Daniel Metzler, second place Teamworks. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Josh and Joe were also named Students of the Month at the Upper Bucks Tech School for this month. Jacob Smith, second place in Mechatronics. Joey Mott, third place Commercial Banking. Angelo Garrison, I like that name, third place IT Services. So if you're all here, please come forward for a photograph. To be certain, did I call every tech school student?
Leah.
Oh, there we go. Leah Peralta is the last one. Is Leah here? Leah? Has everyone been called? Okay. Next up, we'll transition to athletics, and actually Mr. Thomas is going to help me with this. Mr. Hagan unfortunately could not join us this evening.
We have lots to celebrate, and I'll turn my mic on.
There we go. We have lots to celebrate in the world of athletics tonight. First, we would like to honor our wrestling team. Again, they've been here a few times with us, but they finished fourth as a team at team duels and as individuals. And we also like to thank Coach Coons and his staff for really guiding these guys this year. We also want to specifically recognize Sam Coons, who earned his 100th win this season, and he has way more than that now. He also finished fifth in the state. Cole Coffin earned his 100th win this season and has more than that now. He also finished sixth in the state.
Mr. Thomas, if we can have the students
Yeah, come on down.
come down. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, absolutely. Talon Hogan also earning his 100th win this season. More than that now. He finished seventh in the state. Quinn McBride finished sixth in the state in his weight class. Colby Marinelli and Ryan Gallagher also completed very well in the state tournament this year. Let's give it up for our wrestlers.
Congratulations, guys.
Moving on to girls swimming. The girls swimming senior standout Allie Riccardi continued her impressive streak in the pools this year. She finished 14th in the state this year in the 50 freestyle and 19th in the 100-meter freestyle. If Allie is here, she can come down. If not, let's give her a round of applause. Moving on to indoor track, it was another great year for many of our indoor track athletes. For the boys, Mike Mururi, I'm sorry if I butchered that, earned 9th place in the triple jump. Zach Bridgman, Ethan, come on down when I say your name, guys. Ethan Cervesi, Nick Linder, Zach McGowan, 18th in the 4x200. Ethan Kwan, Zach Bridgman, Ethan Cervesi, Nick Linder were 15th in the 4x400 relays, and they brought the baton with them. Also, Jackson Warfel, a New Balance Nationals. He set the state freshman record for the mile. Congratulations to our indoor boys track athletes. On the girls' side, Ashley Landis and Keegan Smith continue their dominance along with Natalie Pappas. Ariana Parks finished 7th in the 4x800 relay. Come on down, ladies. Also, Ashley Landis finishing 8th place in the 800-meter race this year for the state. Come on down, everybody. Let's give them a hand.
Down a little bit, every other person. Kind of moving between them. There you go. Good. Coach. Thank you so much. Perfect. Everyone here, ready? 1, 2, 3. We got a bunch. Congratulations, everybody.
This is his mile time.
What was your mile time? What's the new record? 14 what? 424. 424 is the new record for a freshman in high school if you have something that you want to beat. 424. Okay, you've seen the hats, you've seen the very, very large trophies at the front of the stage. Last week, we all had reason to celebrate as our Penridge High School hockey team claimed the Flyers Cup, which means they were the best high school team in the eastern part of the state. And that's an amazing achievement by itself. But the team then headed to the state championship this past Saturday, and in a gritty comfort-behind performance, they took home the state championship for the second time in 3 years. Gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you up, and we would like to welcome our second state championship team of the year here at Penridge. Come on forward and be celebrated, guys. Your state championship hockey team, everyone. Throw that hardware.
All right, guys, grab the trophies, bring to it, cluster a little bit in the middle. Good. There you go. Nice, coach. You got it. All right, you guys get the front of the trophy. There you go. Squeeze together each other. There we go. Ready? Are you guys? Squeeze out. Don't be shy. Here we go. Come this way a little bit. There we go. I got it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Congratulations to all of our student athletes. Our hockey team, we are beyond proud of your accomplishments and your state championship. This past weekend, dozens of community members walked the halls of the high school to take in the art festival. I had the pleasure of attending yesterday and was just overly impressed with the creative talents of our students. I would also like to publicly commend Ms. Sarah Moose, as Mr. Wers did as well. She's our K through 12 art coordinator, and all the teaching staff who helped make this event come to fruition. We do have some of the students from our art. We have a screen out over here, if we can get that. Is it working? Okay. Yes, yes.
Come on down, man. Come on down.
So some of the students have artwork on their person. There's also some displays, just a few displays at the entrance of the LGI. But if you could just publicly congratulate this group here, and I would like to do the same. And you have some teachers and our students. So thank you very much.
There we go. Ready? Ready? Hold your arm up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Great job. Oh, you dropped one. Yeah, wait for your buddy. Go. Ready? 3. Got it. Good job, everybody.
Thank you. Additionally, I had the pleasure to meet another artist, actually Thursday of last week, Carly Good, 11th grader. Are you here? Yeah, I'm here. Okay, here comes Carly. I had the pleasure, are your parents here? I see Mom, Miss Good's here. So I had the pleasure to meet Carly at the Bucks County IU last week. She won with her photograph called Band Life that will be, it's mounted at the Bucks IU for a year. I think we have a photograph for you to see, but it was a pleasure. And in the photograph you can see Miss Moose is there, Carly's parents, Carly as well. So thank you very much. And I just wanted to publicly commend you for excellent. And it was a delightful dinner we had, and I got to know Carly and her parents, and it was a nice evening. We were also joined by Miss Moose. So congratulations, Carly. I'd also like to make you aware of an amazing show that is just around the corner from April 11th through the 14th. We have the very talented cast of Hello Dolly, which will take place in the senior high school auditorium. More information with links and tickets are available on the senior high school website. I'd now like to turn our attention to some extraordinary accomplishments in STEM from our elementary schools. I'm thrilled to highlight the creativity and ingenuity as well as our gratitude to the Bucks County Intermediate Unit for their invaluable STEM resources. We enjoy a robust partnership between IU and the Fab Lab program. Several of our elementary schools bring the Fab Lab to our students throughout the year. This past week, the impressive Fab Lab stopped by Diebler Elementary School, and students had dozens of impressive hands-on opportunities to learn and demonstrate fabrication and manufacturing. We asked that their teacher, Lindsay Wood, and principal Maria Pooley to choose some of the examples that students created last week, as well as the students who created them, and they're joining us tonight. So Aria and Brindley Curran, Chase, Jack, and Sophia Burns, you can please come forward. Finn and Jackson Martin, Cassidy Matusik, Sammy and Jared Miller. We'll give them a chance to come forward. Mr. Wers and I had the chance to join the Fab Lab as well, where we witnessed an outstanding lesson by Miss Woods with respect to butterflies, and we were actually given some gifts to take home.
Stay sharp. There were suits. All right, everybody, look. Ready?
You guys hold up your things?
Yeah, hold up your stuff. Stuff that you made. Here you go. Get ready. We go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. Good job. Awesome, guys.
Thank you. Continuing in the spirit of innovation, teams of students from across Bucks County have been hard at work demonstrating their creativity and engineering skills in this year's STEM Design Challenge. We are thrilled to congratulate 3 Penridge teams who have advanced to this year's finals of the STEM Design Challenge finals to be held on April 12th. Their inventions designed to aid the agriculture industry exemplify their ingenuity and commitment to making a difference. Mrs. Scoggin and her team from Siler join us tonight, as well as Mrs. Jardine and her 2 teams from Grass Elementary. So from Grass, we have the boys team, Rihan Thumar, Mohal Mangrolia, Naaman Radadia, and Landon Weaver. For the girls team, we have Lily Lesher, Anna Rickert, Layla Appiot, and Chloe Ferry. From Seiler, we have Lizel Murphy, Gianna Cronin, Kinsley Schroeder, and Juliana Sherino. Let's congratulate these talented students for their outstanding achievements.
Okay, that works too. Okay, here we go, guys. Ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. We got it. Great job.
I'm proud to share the accomplishments of a group of fifth graders from Grass Elementary who were awarded a generous grant from Pico Energy. Their non-stop motion animation video focusing on safety awareness regarding natural gas leaks not only showcases their creativity, but also serves as an important educational tool for our entire regional community. So you see a check there for $5,000. So congratulations to Layla Apiat, Mila Bartos, Donatello Hicks, Jaden Martin, and teacher Miss Chelsea Lewis. If you're here, if you could please come forward.
Scooch together again. Go. Ready? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. You got it. Good job. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Last but certainly not least, I'm delighted to recognize the winners of our middle school spelling bees. These students have demonstrated exceptional spelling abilities and have proudly represented our school district in the regional competition. Tonight we celebrate their achievements. They spelled many words that some of us may find challenging as well. Well, I know I will. From North Middle School, 6th grader Jaden Manuel, who won his competition with the word laundromat. Please come forward. From South Middle School, 8th grader JC Ayub won the South Championship by successfully spelling vultures. From Central Middle School, 6th grader Parisa Kant won her championship by correctly spelling the word coccidiosis, which is a disease of the intestines. So let's give a round of applause for our talented spellers. And they're joined by their principals, Dr. Collis and Dr. Cordelessa.
Congratulations.
Next, I've asked Mr. Thomas to just go over some updates with respect to publicity, social media, content, etc. So,
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Barrios. So we have some updates on how Penridge has been showcased in the news, on our website, on YouTube, on social media, and on our cable channels. For the last few weeks, we've been doing what we call a soft test on both our Verizon Channel 29 as well as our Comcast Channel 968. You may remember a survey in October that allowed our community to name our channel RNN, which stands for the Rams News Network. We're proud to let you know that the 24-hour program loop containing our in-depth Penridge profiles and other videos has been running smoothly for several weeks as a test. We add video content to it routinely. For example, the recording of this meeting, as well as a video on the PICO Showcase Award winners that you just saw, and several others will be added this week, so we can continue to showcase our students, staff, and programs to the community. We also have added RNN On Demand to our YouTube channel, so our community and anyone anywhere can see all the amazing things happening in our Penridge schools anytime they wish. If you missed it, Penridge schools were featured in the Bucks County Herald Living section for Read Across America Week on our Facebook page. You could see hundreds of photos that we posted throughout that week, And thanks to the content creators in our schools, we were able to get all those pictures posted. But it was really nice to see some of those pictures shared in the regional newspaper as well. And you could see several close-up shots there, how our region was able to see Penridge in the news. Finally, you may have seen on social media that we have extended an invitation to model our approach for live streaming and on demand. So this is what we did. We put the invitation out to Hilltown Township and all the other local governments so that they could visit us and see how we do live streaming. Hilltown Township took us up on that, and we're proud to say that they collaborated with us, and last week they started their program. And once again, we invite all our area government leaders to give us a call or email if they're interested in doing the same to provide information to their residents during their meetings. Speaking of social media, we wanted to give you a tally. Facebook continues to be a huge driving force for getting content out to our community and beyond. On our official Facebook channel, we are ranging between 75,000 and 115,000 views in just the last 28 days of all the content that we're posting. 9,000 reactions, 20,500 photo views, and 2,400 links clicking from our posts that we put out to our community in just the last 28 days. When asked what is driving all those numbers, well, there's your list. So Mr. Barrios welcoming Abu, the former student, as a new bus driver, a staggering 75,217 views. Wrestlers weighing in well, sorry for the pun, doing well with their 100 wins. Simple photo, great sharing of the good, and you can see the rest. Some videos on there as well, like the send-off for the wrestling team, the Shake It Off video with the Ridge Rock Band at Seiler, the art students, and this is in our what we call the 20K Club. We have many that are in the thousands, but these were the 7 that were just about at 20,000 and way beyond as well. So that is what I wanted to give to you tonight and show you how Penridge is being seen regionally as well as right here in our area. Thank you.
Thank
you. Well done.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Well, that concludes my superintendent's report. I just want to thank our amazing students, teachers, administrators, and anyone else who I may have overlooked for this outstanding school district. That's all I have, Mr. Wars.
Okay. Moving right along is student liaison report. Isabella Clemens, welcome.
Thank you. So first, we would like to again congratulate all of the Winter Athletics, ice hockey team, and all of our artists with pieces in the art show. And then, in honor of Women's History Month, last Rams period, Student Council sponsored its Women's in the Workforce breakfast and breakout groups. It was a large success with our guests including female doctors, entrepreneurs, scientists, and many others. Select female students were able to attend a meeting with one of these women and learn all about these important roles in our society. And as for the future, Student Council is working on some of our end of the year events, including Mr. Penridge, which we hope to bring back for this year. So thank you.
All right. Moving on to the consent calendar. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Public comment. I forgot about that. Sorry about that. All right. We have just a few on the list tonight. First one up is Ross McLennan.
Ross McLennan, Hilltown. I have some notes here, but you caught me off guard. The Forensic Science Summer Camp. Is that for adults? I would go to that. That's a great idea. I saw it on the way in, and I applaud you. Can I go? Can I teach at it? I could probably teach at it. I guess I could teach at it, so I'm volunteering. CSI, Fab Labs, CNC, STEM. Totally geeking out on this stuff tonight. Sports, fantastic. All the young kids out here today. That was great. I commend you. And Ron, thank you very much for your comments tonight. You too, Mr. Barrios. Thank you.
Next up is Kim Badelian. Janelle, you'll be next. Yes.
Kim Badillion, Percy Borough. I asked that you indulge me. I know you pulled the steals, but I gave up my lunchtime to do a deep dive on this. So if you wouldn't mind indulging me, since I did make the time to come here and do it. So just give me my 3 minutes. For those who may not be aware, in 2022, Pennsylvania Department of Education adopted and codified into law new science standards called STEELS, which stands for Science, Technology and Engineering, Environmental Literacy, and Sustainability. These new academic standards go into effect for the 25-26 school year. What is concerning about STEELS is that it weaves in left-wing ideology. In particular, one component of STEELS requires instruction on, quote, environmental justice, end quote. Starting in 6th grade and continuing through 12th grade, students are to be instructed on, and I quote, environmental conditions and their implications on environmental justice and social equity due to systemic inequities. There is a contract on tonight's agenda, which was pulled, which has never been discussed in committee. Given the district's current budget deficit, why are you considering bringing in a consultant from Rhode Island to instruct our teachers on Pennsylvania STEEL standards when we already have a number of highly qualified and well-paid education specialists on staff? Have you vetted this consultant? Because this is what I found on his Twitter feed this afternoon. Mr. McLaren posts, this article is for teachers who understand that racism is real, anti-blackness is real, and state-sanctioned violence, which allows police to kill black people with impunity, is real. It is for teachers who know change is necessary. When will we become leaders? How do we lead science toward gender equity? He reposted the Lakota man, never judge a native until you've spent a day fighting our fight. If I am or ever was a merciless savage, better believe I had a reason for it. He also reposted an article, discrimination still plagues science, employers need to do more to improve workplace diversity, equity, and inclusion. Social protest movements such as Me Too and Black in STEM have shown a light on the need for greater diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then my personal favorite in 2022, please remember that any criticism of the President of the United States during this crisis is immoral, disloyal, plays into Putin's demand, and likely means that you're a Kremlin asset or useful idiot. Now is the time for caution and patriotism, not criticism or questioning. I'm just wondering, does he allow his students in science to question or criticize the pending narrative? So if you wouldn't just maybe vet him a little bit more and take a look at his Twitter feed, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Did you give back? Okay. Shannon Harn?
Sorry, I have bad handwriting. It's Harris, and I'm passing too because you're already skipping that, so I'll wait till next.
Okay, then we'll move along. Thanks. Now, we're on to the consent calendar. Sorry about that. So, I'd like to make a motion to approve A through H on the consent agenda. If anyone wants to pull anything out, just let me know. I need a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments or any issues? All those in favor? Aye. All those against?
Passes.
I didn't hear from Christine.
Passes.
Ada? Sheila. Moving right along, committee reports. Ms. Blomgren?
Okay, we have 2 overnight trips to approve tonight, and it was really interesting. 2 of the teachers, one from who's the advisor for FBLA and the ski and snowboard club. It was very cool to hear from them, just the amount of time they put in to try to schedule these things for our students to have opportunities. For the FBLA trip, students will have opportunities to compete and to possibly earn scholarships. So, sometimes they have to leave early dismissals, things like that, but it's great that those teachers take their time with minimal, additional pay to, again, just have some of these experiences that, students will remember for a lifetime. So with that, can we get a motion to approve the following overnight trips A and B listed below? A, Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA, state competition at Hershey Lodge from April 8th 2024 to April 9th, 2024, and B, ski and snowboard trip to Western United States from February 13th, 2025 through February 18th, 2025.
Make a motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Passes 8-0. 8-0. Next meeting?
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
And then that is all for activities, and our next meeting will be scheduled for Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024.
All right, moving along for curriculum. Mr. Merkel Gump.
All right. Curriculum meeting was held March 4th, which we received updates on several different programs, including our updates to social studies, as well as career pathways and AP Human Geography. There's one item for approval tonight, which is a motion to approve a 12th grade course, American Government, Civics, and Economics. Sorry, Citizenship and Economics.
Make a motion.
Did someone second it? Oh, Cormac, sorry. Questions, comments?
I would just like,
Go ahead.
sorry, just to make a comment that I'm excited for this course. I just wish it was a required course for us out of the 3 to take.
Anybody else? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? All right, motion passes 9-0.
All right. The next curriculum committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 2nd of 2024.
Moving along to facilities, Mr. Cormac.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 motions to approve obsolete items, Central Middle School, various equipment, the high school athletic equipment, technology department, equipment there, Diablo Elementary, various equipment, Guth Elementary, library weeding, public surplus of books, grass equipment, elementary school, various equipment. It's all for surplus, public service, surplus, or trash or recycle. I'd like to have a motion, please.
Make a motion.
Need a second? Anybody? Somebody second? I didn't-
Second.
Oh, okay. Good. Sorry. Yeah, you usually don't have to speak up, so I should have missed that. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes 9-0.
The next facilities committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 8th, 2024. Thank you.
All right. Moving along to finance. The finance meeting was March 11th, and we have tonight approval of contracts. I'd like to make a motion to approve A through J, and if anyone wants to pull one out, just let me know. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did take it.
Jay's table.
Tay's table. Sorry about that. Sorry, let me do that again. A motion to approve A through L. I, sorry. God, I can't even read up here. All right. A through I. Get a second?
Second.
All right, second. Ms. Farina. All those, any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Nope. Motion passes 9-0. We'll be back to the public on the Steels one. It'll be in the next curriculum meeting.
Ron, can I just ask a question about that one? I know it's tabled, but question.
Yeah?
Because in the contract, it stated that that consultant would be here for the in-service on the 22nd, but our board meeting is that night. So if we're supposed to have it go through committee and then vote on it potentially at the next board meeting, how does that work?
I'll take that. We would table that April 22nd. That was a cost savings. We were going to share him with the Neshaminy School District. So if he were traveling, he could work with Neshaminy and us.
So the cost savings would just been the travel?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, all those in favor? No. Oh, did we do that? Yes. Next meeting is April 8th, Monday. Moving on to personnel, Ms. Sharino.
Thank you, Ron. For personnel, we are doing the approval of settlement agreement. So motion to approve settlement agreement with Penridge Educational Association and employee number 8901.
Second? Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. B, approval of settlement agreement. Motion to approve settlement agreement between Penridge Educational Support Professionals Association and employee number 3857.
Second? Second? Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes 9-0.
Moving to approve memorandum of understanding, MOU, between Penridge School District and the Penridge Educational Support Professional Association.
Second.
Second, by Bradley. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes 9-0. I just wanted to add that this is an attempt to work with the staff and to give more flexibility and show them the value of what they do for us. So this is Mr. Barrios's idea in bringing it forward, and I think it shows a good amount of give and take with our teachers.
Yeah, no. The next Personnel Committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 8th.
All right, moving on to old business. Anybody? Oh, wait, I forgot the IU. I'm losing track up here. Sorry about that. The IU report. I spoke earlier about the IU and some of the wonderful things they do with the Fab Lab. I was at their board meeting last week and went through and improved their budget, and I learned more and more about what the IU can do every time, and I would advise you to check it out on bucksiu.org. They really help us in so many different ways, and I'm learning new ones all the time. The next IU meeting is Tuesday, April 16th, and now moving along to the tech school. Mr. Kaufman.
All right. So first, I just want to reiterate the level of excellence from all of our skills winners. In the past, I've been a regional judge and a state head judge for skills. So I understand the pressure that the students face. So I just want to congratulate all of them. They have bright futures ahead of them. So recap of the March 21st meeting, it was announced that the Upper Bucks Tech School's graduation will be held on June 3rd at the Penridge High School. There were two companies that provided donations to the school. Broccolante provided a donation of $7,500. And they're going to be holding a manufacturing day to introduce students to machining. And Overclocked IT LLC donated supplies to the school in the amount of $1,400. The hazardous waste collection event was rescheduled to May 18th. The approval of the use of the rate stabilization fund was in the amount of $79,000 with Delaware Valley Health Trust. A memorandum of understanding was approved for student record sharing. The proposed budget for 24-25 was approved. A suggestion was made to record and broadcast all committee meetings, and a committee was formed to address updating the articles of agreement. And that was the end of that meeting. The next Upper Bucks County Tech School meeting is scheduled for Thursday, April 18th.
All right, moving on to committee reports. PACC, Shareen.
Thank you. The Penridge Area Coordinating Committee met on February 22nd, where we had a municipal roundtable. The guest was Ken Nugent, who's the Dublin Fire Chief. He brought up the concerns related to volunteer fire companies, noting that 7 municipalities out of 63 in Bucks now have paid fire squads due to the difficulties of having sufficient volunteers. So recruitment is a major issue for them. In regards to West Rock Hill, they're still working to resolve funding for the operations of the Holiday House Pool, and their annual fishing derby is April 15th at James Park. In Bedminster, they purchased a new tractor for road mowing, and they requested a PennDOT traffic study for a section of Route 113. For Silverdale, they've had bids that have been requested for Barringer Avenue sidewalks. For East Rock Hill, they're finalizing a comprehensive updating of a large number of ordinances. And in Dublin, if you haven't noticed, they do have a new Ace hardware store in their shopping center that's opening up in April. And Dublin Day is scheduled for June 1st at the park. The next meeting will be March 28th at the Penridge Community Center. Thank you.
All right, moving along, now caught up again. Old business?
I'm not sure if it's old business, but I did want to announce that there is going to be a policy meeting on April 2nd. Apologies for skipping it in February. I was actually traveling for a little bit over a week, and we had some staff changes within the district, so we just need a little more time. But April 2nd will be the next policy meeting. Thank you.
Any other old business? New business? Anybody with new business? All right, we'll go back to public comment then. I'm staying in order this time. Richard Burns.
Before you start my time, I have handouts for you. You don't need to read them now, but I would like to distribute them.
Sure.
Thank you. Is my mic on? Okay. Good evening, school board. We've heard public comments at these meetings about the risks of mental illness and suicidality in children who do not receive trans-affirming care. These comments have been presented as if the current care of gender dysphoric kids is the final word. Yet review of current research reveals that the jury is still out on the long-term efficacy and safety of treatments recommended for trans children. Currently, there is no consensus in the medical profession. I repeat, there is no consensus in the medical profession. The sparse evidence in support of current therapy is based upon poorly conducted studies. Conversely, there's a plethora of scientific evidence that transgender care often results in multiple complications, including sterility, osteoporosis, pulmonary emboli, adolescent menopause, and diabetes. Also, 70% of gender dysphoric kids have an array of pre-existing mental health conditions, including depression, anxiety, ADD, autism, eating disorders, and sexual abuse. Transgender care practices are currently guided by the policies of the now discredited World Professional Association for Transgender Health. However, many healthcare experts in the US, Europe, and the UK are telling us to put the brakes on and slow down. They're proposing a wait-and-see period coupled with appropriate psychiatric care. They note that about 85% of children with gender dysphoria will desist or grow out of the condition by their late teens or early adulthood. They believe in do no harm. Dr. Miriam Grossman is an expert in the care of children and adolescents with gender dysphoria. To the school board and to everyone who interacts with children, and especially parents, I would highly recommend her recent book, Lost in Transnation, A Child Psychiatrist's Guide Out of the Madness. In her book, she quotes physicians at the Washington University St. Louis Clinic for Transgender Care who stated, quote, "We're building the airplane while we're flying it." Teachers, administrators, doctors, and psychologists are compelled to affirm a child who identifies as the opposite sex. Their efforts are usually conducted without parental consent. And in their rush to help this child, they facilitate the child's entry onto the pathway of the full gamut of hormonal and surgical care. So please be cautious about the policies that you enact. And ask yourselves if you're putting students on that airplane. This plane's not guaranteed of a safe landing, and it's at high risk to crash and burn. Thank you.
Jane Kramer.
Jane Kramer, Sellersville. I thank the board president for your remarks at the beginning of the meeting. And I think a lot of other people in the community have been very concerned that there hasn't been forward motion on the policies, and I appreciate the background why there wasn't a policy meeting last month. So I'm glad to hear that commitment to moving forward and looking through our policies. I wanted to read a little bit of an article from the Washington Post on March 12th. It was an in-depth article about the impacts of legislation and school board policies on LGBTQ youth. School hate crimes targeting LGBTQ plus people have sharply risen in recent years, climbing fastest in states that have passed laws restricting LGBTQ plus students' rights and education. A Washington Post analysis of FBI data finds, in states with restrictive laws, the number of hate crimes on K through 12 campuses has more than quadrupled since the onset of a diverse, divisive culture war that has often centered on the rights of LGBTQ plus youth. At the same time, calls to youth crisis hotlines have exploded, with some advocates drawing a connection between the political climate and the spike in bullying and hate crimes. LGBT plus Q students have long dealt with bullying and harassment at school, but some students are feeling particularly vulnerable due to the wave of legislation. They are also on edge following the death of Next Benedict, a non-binary teenager who died after a fight in their Oklahoma public school bathroom. The death was ruled a suicide according to a one-page summary report released Wednesday by the state's chief medical examiner. It's past time to suspend the illegal policies that are being shown to cause real harm, as documented in the OCR complaint. This is not a both sides issue. It is not extremist to expect your school district to follow state and federal law. It is extremist to use policy to erase the existence of a group of people because they make you feel uncomfortable. So again, I appreciate that the board is recommitted to moving forward with these policy changes. Thank you.
Kim Culp.
Three minutes. Hi, thanks for hearing me out. My name is Kimberly, and I am the very, very proud and blessed mother of 3 children of color. My youngest, Hamdia, who everyone calls Hattie, is here with me tonight. I so wish I could say that we're here simply to cheer on the wonderful things happening in this district, because there are wonderful things happening. However, this isn't the case. Tonight I'm here to address an issue that is rampant, yes, rampant, within our school district, and that is racism and intolerance. Hattie is a kind, athletic, funny, loyal, fierce friend. She's a joy to be around. To know Hattie is to love Hattie. If you talk to any of our teachers, you'll find that out. As a parent, you know a situation isn't normal when you are on a first name basis with your vice principal and your kid has never been in trouble a day in her life. Ron Taylor is a gem, by the way, and he should be commended for his amazing support of all students and the way he handles situations that I am about to describe to you. The first week of school in 6th grade, my daughter was repeatedly referred to as Kai Sinet, a male TikTok star of Haitian origin, simply because of the color of her skin and her beautiful curls. A month later, she was the victim of another racist incident when the N-word was sung on the bus directly at her by a sweet yet ignorant child who couldn't understand the impact of his words. This child is her friend, and he has a kind heart. But he's never heard the term microaggression. He hasn't been taught to make connection between music and racism. Hattie often hears the N-word. Kids making racist jokes, including jokes about black people being monkeys. She is even recently referred to last week as Midnight. These are not isolated incidents. They are indicative of a culture that does not respect and honor diversity. A culture that has been permitted, if not fostered, under the previous school board. If you have ever experienced your heart breaking as a child cries about bullying, then you know why I'm standing before you tonight. Imagine how devastating it is to see her cry as she begs you to explain why people don't like her hair, why she's so different, why boys who've never even talked to her or seen her feel as though they can cut her down in the bus line, call her a monkey, or Midnight embarrass her, why they won't accept her, or why God even made her black, because she questions that after her experiences here. We cannot continue to allow and expect our children of color, LGBT plus TQ plus youth, to internalize and accept the ugliness, racism, and indifference that is thrown their way. We cannot continue to act as if our district isn't broken as a direct result of the cultural shift towards white makes right. We are here today, to ask you to move the needle and address a systemic issue in the Penridge district. Sorry. Is it okay if I go on? Thank you. One that is damaging our culture and our babies, because that's my baby, and she's hurting. Children cannot learn when they do not feel safe, supported, and seen. DEI programs, while being vilified by the far right, are essential to ensuring that all children can learn in a safe and supportive environment where they feel valued as a part of a community. At its core, and I'm an educator and a curriculum writer, DEI showcases the differences among people. It helps children recognize inequalities in social structure, challenges stereotypes, gives everyone a voice, and helps them develop social action skills to help others who are different than them, and who wouldn't want that? If I sound angry or sad, it's because I am angry and sad. I'm angry as a mom, I'm angry as a citizen, I'm angry as a human, because I know we can do better. And we have to do better. We have to do better. If we graduate the smartest, most capable, civics-minded kids in the state, but we do not equip them to be kind and fair and respectful and to value others as a fundamental right, you have failed, right? I challenge and charge this school board to make a difference in the culture of Penridge by reinstating DEI and social emotional learning programs throughout the district. I know it may seem that academic programming should be the #1 priority of the school board, but the importance of academics pales in comparison to the imperative that all children feel safe and valued and accepted, and that they have a voice. We need to be conscious and intentional about ensuring that all children have a substantial framework, academically, socially, and emotionally, that enables them to see the value of diversity, whether that diversity comes in form of race, religion, gender, or ability. In an ideal world, parents would provide this within the home, and you all could simply reinforce it. The fundamentally valued human principles that I'm talking about. But we don't live in that ideal world. And while my daughter walks the halls within this district, our district, it is her fundamental right to do so free and of fear, menace, and hatred. Thank you for your time, and I would be happy to support you in any other way I can.
Kim Bedillion again.
Kim Badillion, Percy Borough. Every 2 years, the CDC gathers data from students in 9th through 12th grade using the Youth Risk Behavior Survey. This survey is meant to track behaviors in students that can lead to poor health. In 2017, the CDC piloted adding a question to the survey to identify students who considered themselves as transgender. The results of that survey were released January 25th, 2019. The survey results indicated that on the basis of percentage, trans-identifying students reported feeling more sad and hopeless than their peers. They also reported considering, planning, or attempting suicide more than their peers. This was mentioned by someone who gave a public comment last month. However, that same survey also revealed that when compared to their peers, trans-identifying students were 3 times more likely to have been raped, 4 times more likely to have been physically assaulted on a date, 2 times more likely to have sex with more than 4 people, these are children, young people, 5 times more likely to have had sex before the age of 13, 4 times more likely to have used heroin, 5 times more likely to have used cocaine, 11 times more likely to have used ecstasy, and 15 times more likely to have used methamphetamine. Although self-reporting surveys have their limitations, if we take the survey results at face value, we their peers from feelings of sadness and hopelessness that may lead them to harm themselves. The public commenter last month stated that schools must affirm the proclaimed gender identity of trans-identifying students, otherwise schools risk increasing the rate of suicide for these students. However, the survey results point to promiscuity, rape, and hard drug use as contributing factors. In addition, studies from Europe and Scandinavia, which are decades further down the road as it pertains to treating trans-identifying youth, show pre-existing and underlying mental health challenges such as autism, personality disorders, anxiety, and depression are overrepresented in the trans-identifying youth population. Complicated mental health issues should and must be addressed, but that should occur outside of school with mental health professionals in coordination with parents. In the context of school, it makes the most sense to affirm students as students, recognizing excellence in academic, musical, artistic, and athletic achievement. Thank you.
Barbara V's.
Barbara V's, Hilltown Township. I just wanted to share a little bit from a book, Bad Therapy, Why the Kids Aren't Growing Up by Abigail Schreier. She starts out talking about how her son came home from summer camp, had a stomach ache for a few days, and she took him to the doctors. And he said couldn't find anything really wrong, probably just dehydrated. But before she got out of the office, the nurse came in and asked for privacy with her son because he needed to ask a few questions. So she wanted to see what those questions were, and here's what they were. In the past few weeks, have you wished you were dead? In the past few weeks, have you felt that you or your family would be better off if you were dead? In the past week, have you been having thoughts about killing yourself? Have you ever tried to kill yourself? If yes, how and when? Are you having thoughts of killing yourself right now? If yes, please describe. At any time a parent arrives at the doctor's office, she exposes herself to risk. Iatrogenesis is the word for all of it. From the Greek, iatrogenesis literally means originating with the healer, and refers to the phenomenon of a healer harming a patient in the course of treatment. Most often it's not malpractice, though it can be. Iatrogenesis is everywhere because all interventions carry risk. So telling kids to eat vegetables or get plenty of sleep or spend time with friends may be advice, but it isn't an intervention. We all need to do those things. With interventions, a good rule of thumb is don't go in for an x-ray if you don't need one. Don't expose yourself to the germs of an ER just to say hello to your doctor friend. And just maybe don't send your kid off to therapy unless she absolutely requires it. everyone knows the first two. It's the last that may surprise you. So with just 3 minutes, we can't go into the whole book, but it just makes you wonder what we're doing to our kids with different therapy. And as some of us did outside, we have a prayer circle before the meetings, and we prayed for our board, we prayed for the audience, and we certainly prayed for our kids, and I think that's what we need to do. Thank you.
Shannon, feel it? Yeah. Shannon? Yeah.
Shannon Harris, Hilltown Township. I just want to qualify that everything I'm saying is my own opinion. I moved here late last year to what I thought was a more conservative area, but when attending my first board meeting last month, I listened to public comment about a new discrimination complaint filed 10 days after the election, and my heart literally sank, and I thought, here we go again. I'm here to testify and warn you that you are about to be part of a plan implemented 2 years ago in CBSD. I can tell you that our school district was thrown into chaos, and it all started with a discrimination complaint by the ACLU, and then a complaint secretly filed by our current board Democratic president to the Department of Ed. Despite what you may have heard, the Democrats did start it, and the media colluded, and then colluded with them to bring down our district. Our complaint, which you need to remember, never went to court. It never went to court. Was completely redacted, so our board was not only blindsided but frustrated that they didn't even know what the concerns were. Does that sound familiar to you? Like your complaint, there was a list of demands, and our Democratic minority put pressure on the board to comply. We started a 6-month investigation that resulted in a finding of no discrimination, but what was surprising was our own GSA teacher kept a dossier about an LGBTQ student from administration purposely. We were just up in arms. And colluded with Planned Parenthood to disrupt one of our middle schools. This was shocking and very disappointing that our LGBTQ children were being used for political purposes. Then came the accusations of book banning and false discrimination, accusations in order to win an election. Our superintendent was attacked for severing ties with CB Cares, called a Nazi by email by our current Democratic board president, who also incidentally just took her oath on a stack of pornographic books. As you probably know, our superintendent resigned, and he is literally still being attacked and targeted by our Democratic board majority. The Democratic board took control and within 3 months proceeded to allegedly violate the Sunshine Act multiple times, for which they are in litigation for. So why am I telling you this? You have two choices, in my opinion. You can let the activism of Mrs. Rash and the blatant collusion of with her husband's organization, the Pair Up Society, to repeat exactly what happened in CBSD, which has destroyed it. Or you can choose to maintain a more neutral stance, do an investigation for the benefit of all students, which reflects what your own community really wants. In order to maintain an ethical and completely transparent behavior to the community right now, I think Mrs. Rash should recuse herself immediately from all legal conversations, including executive board sessions regarding the complaint, and from being policy chair. She cannot ethically direct policy when the changes are part of the current complaint. If the board indulges these demands, the board, in my eyes, will be functioning politically instead of protecting the district, which is your first priority, and its students' second priority, from the accusations in the complaint. There's nothing wrong with doing an investigation. There's nothing wrong with being thorough. There's nothing wrong with addressing obvious issues with bullying. Bullying happens to a lot of different people, and it needs to be addressed, and it should not be ever tolerated. So, in conclusion, you have a choice, Mrs. Rash, the board, and Mr. Wers especially. You have a choice to either comply, you have a choice to choose wisely, and my choice would be to not comply with the Democratic political activist agenda that is coming your way, and it is coming. And by the way, I just want to say one thing. I just read an article from CNN that just reported that many universities are pulling and canceling their DEI policies and their directors because they have found that they do not work.
All right, that's the end of public comment. One announcement, an executive session was held prior to tonight's meeting to discuss a policy matter on March 12th, 2024, to discuss personal matters, and March 19th, 2024, to discuss litigation. The next school board meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 22nd,